Block 1. It started with a key and a promise. We stood in the doorway, keys in hand. She was crying. Happy tears, she said. We did it, Maddie. We really did it. The house was modest, 2 stories, white siding, sunroom in the back. But for us, it was a miracle. Our mother died when we were young. Our father was a ghost long before he left. So it had always been just us. Me and Jenna, sisters, best friends, survivors. I was the responsible one, the one who saved, budgeted, skipped vacations, waited tables through college and took 2 jobs when the recession hit. Jenna? She was the dreamer, smart, charming, a little reckless. But she had a good heart. Or so I thought. When the idea for the house came up, it felt right. She found it. I financed it. She had the credit score. I had the cash. So we struck a deal. I'd pay the down payment and half the mortgage. We'd split everything. Everything. She'd hold the deed temporarily, just until I could fix my credit. I trusted her. Because she was Jenna. The girl who once gave me her coat in a snowstorm. The girl who held my hand through every breakup. The girl I would have taken a bullet for. And maybe I did. I just didn't realize the bullet was paperwork. Block 2. Signs I should have seen. The first 6 months were magic. We painted rooms, built furniture, had wine nights on the porch. It felt like the closest we'd been in years. Then little things started changing. She stopped calling it our house. Started saying my place. She made decisions without asking. A new dishwasher, a dog I didn't want, a boyfriend who started sleeping over 5 nights a week. Relax, she said. You live here, you don't run it. I laughed it off, at first, but it kept happening. Mail started coming in her name only. The Wi-Fi was changed without telling me. She started locking the office, my office, when I wasn't home. Then came the argument. She wanted to refinance. Said she needed to consolidate the paperwork. Said I shouldn't worry about ownership right now. I pushed back. Reminded her I'd paid over $80,000 by that point. Down payment, closing costs, renovations. She rolled her eyes. It's not like there's a contract, Maddie. You said you wanted to help. That word, help, hit like a slap. Because I didn't help. I invested. I built half that home with my hands, my money, and my time. But legally, it wasn't mine. And 1 week later, I came home from work to find my key didn't fit. My stuff, in boxes on the porch. Her text, I think we need space. You can stay with Derek for now. It's just better this way. Better for who? Certainly not for me, the woman who just lost her home to her own sister. Block 3. The lockout and the lie. I stood on the porch for 20 minutes. Tried calling. No answer. Tried knocking. Derek opened the door, her boyfriend, looking smug, like he was expecting this moment. She's not here, he said. And she said you're not welcome. He closed the door before I could speak. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't impulsive. This was planned. I went to my car, called my best friend, then a lawyer. I didn't want a war. I wanted fairness. The lawyer reviewed everything, texts, receipts, bank statements. Then she asked the question I was afraid of. Is your name on the deed? I swallowed hard. No, it was temporary, just until... She nodded. Then technically you have no ownership, but that doesn't mean you're powerless. We filed a civil suit, a claim for unjust enrichment and financial fraud. I didn't want revenge. I wanted what was mine. Meanwhile, Jenna went silent, blocked me on everything, told our relatives I was unstable, obsessed, even hinted I had threatened her. She was rewriting the story, casting herself as the victim. But this wasn't high school. And I wasn't some scared little sister anymore. I had evidence. I had resolve. And I had one thing she never expected: the truth. Block 4. Courtroom cold and sisterly silence. The first hearing was surreal. Jenna walked in like it was a brunch reservation. Hair curled, heels clicking, lips glossed. She didn't look at me once. Her lawyer called it a misunderstanding between sisters. Said I'd gifted the money. Said I was having trouble letting go. I kept my face still, but inside, I burned. Because I had proof. Texts discussing shared ownership bank transfers with the memo house payment, emails, confirming renovation costs, and split decisions. My lawyer laid it all out. Calm, clear, chronological. Jenna squirmed in her seat, but her voice stayed steady when she was questioned. I never asked her for the money. She offered. I thought she was just being supportive. I didn't think she expected anything in return. Supportive? I had cleared my savings account, declined a grad program, postponed surgery, all because I believed we were building something together. But to her, I was just a down payment with a face. The judge didn't rule that day, took the case under review. And outside the courtroom, she finally looked at me, only once, and smiled. Like the house, the lie, the betrayal, was just business. But she underestimated me again, because she thought the court was the endgame. It wasn't. It was just the start. Block 5, digging up the real blueprint. While the court deliberated, I started my own investigation. If Jenna had played me, maybe she'd played others. I went back through her old texts, her social media, financial apps we'd used, her digital footprints, and what I found, a pattern. Loans from old boyfriends, PayPal requests to friends labeled rent split, even when she was living with me. Even a GoFundMe campaign 2 years ago, supposedly for our mom's headstone, that I knew had already been paid for. She wasn't a dreamer. She was a hustler. And I wasn't her first mark. I compiled a dossier, submitted it to the court as character evidence. Legally, it was borderline, but emotionally, it shifted the tone. Suddenly, this wasn't just a family squabble. It was a story of pattern, intent, premeditation. Her lawyer tried to spin it, called it irrelevant. But the judge asked for time. And in that silence, I moved. I posted, carefully, factually, on a legal advice forum under an anonymous tag. The story went viral, not with names, but with truth. Other women reached out privately. My sister did this to me too. Thank you for speaking up. You just described my exact life. And that's when I knew. This wasn't just about one house. This was about how silence keeps us homeless in our own lives. And I was done being quiet. Block 6, the verdict and the voice. She didn't expect. The final hearing was short. Jenna showed up alone this time. No heels, no lip gloss. Just that same quiet defiance she wore when we were kids, caught in a lie she refused to admit. The judge read the ruling with no emotion. The court finds in favor of the plaintiff. She owed me $82,479, plus interest, plus legal fees. There was no jail time. This wasn't criminal, but it was public, and it was permanent. A court-documented betrayal, etched into record. I watched her blink once, just once. She didn't speak, didn't cry, didn't even look at me. But I looked at her, not with rage, with clarity. Because what hurt the most wasn't the money. It wasn't even the house. It was that I had spent years defending her, to friends, to boyfriends, to myself. And in the end, she hadn't just taken my savings. She'd buried the version of us I thought was real. After the ruling, she walked out without a word. A week later, the house was listed for sale. I didn't bid on it. I didn't even visit the open house. Because I didn't want it back. I wanted something bigger. Freedom. Block 7, the house she couldn't sell, and the life I chose to build. The listing sat for 2 months, Then the price dropped, then again. Neighbors started talking about the lawsuit, the debt, the drama that clung to the walls like mold. No one wanted a house with blood in the beams. I didn't celebrate. I didn't smile. I just stepped away. I moved into a small rental on the other side of town. 1 bedroom, faded carpet, leaky faucet. But it was mine. My name on the lease. My quiet in the hallway. And for the first time in months, I slept. No footsteps that didn't belong to me. No side eyes behind closed doors. No more feeling like a guest in the home I helped build. There, I started to breathe again. I went back to therapy, took a second job tutoring. Something I hadn't done since college, but it reminded me of who I was before the scar. And more importantly, I started writing. At first, it was just journaling. Then it became a blog. Anonymous at first. But over time, I realized the shame wasn't mine. It belonged to the story I'd been forced into. So, I signed it with my name. Because every letter was a victory over silence. The views increased. The comments came. And with them, messages from strangers. My sister did the same to me. My brother used my credit to buy a car. You're telling my story too. And I knew. What pushed me out of one house was letting me into so many others. Jenna never apologized. Never called. But the checks started arriving, month after month. Small, like breadcrumbs. But each one a quiet confession that she lost more than the house. She lost the power of the lie, and gave me, without meaning to, the greatest truth. I am more than what I lost. I am what I chose to rebuild. Block 8. When family becomes a lesson, not a lifetime. People asked if we ever reconciled. The answer is no. We didn't speak again after the judgment. She never returned my calls, never responded to the emails I sent. Not for revenge, just closure. The last time I saw her, she was crossing the street downtown. We made eye contact for half a second. She looked away first. And in that moment, I felt something unexpected. Not rage, not pain, just release. Because I didn't need her apology anymore. I didn't need her validation. She took a house, but I kept me. I stopped chasing why, stopped trying to fix what she broke. Because some people aren't broken. They're just built that way, to take, to manipulate, to survive through subtraction. And no amount of love, patience, or shared DNA can teach them another way. But I learned something too. That family doesn't end in betrayal. It ends when you stop letting betrayal define you. Block 9. The voice I almost gave up. After the case, after the move, after the silence, something strange happened. People started reaching out. Women, men, strangers who found my blog, now published under my real name, and whispered truths they'd never told anyone. My brother stole my inheritance. My cousin used my credit to buy a car. My best friend convinced me to invest in her startup, then ghosted me. Story after story, echoing my own. They weren't looking for revenge tips. They were looking for language, for someone to tell them they weren't naive, or dramatic, or stupid. They were looking to feel seen. And so I kept writing. I spoke at a community finance workshop, wrote an article that got picked up by a national women's magazine, started a podcast called Paper Cuts, stories of financial betrayal, survival, and reclaiming control. And in every episode, I ended with the same line. You are not alone. You are not weak. You are just learning where to build stronger walls. Because that's what I did. And every time I spoke those words, I wasn't just helping someone else. I was still helping me. Block 10. The house I built. Without her. 2 years later, I bought another house. Smaller than the first. Quieter. No sunroom. But every inch was mine. I signed the papers on a cold Tuesday morning, hand shaking just a little. Not from fear, from pride. The real kind. The kind that comes after being broken, lied to, left out in the cold and choosing to rebuild anyway. I hung a small frame in the entryway. It said, "Trust is earned, but boundaries are built." I hosted my first dinner party there. Mismatched chairs, one borrowed table, a lasagna that burned a little on the edges. And I laughed. So did my friends. Not one of them was family by blood. But all of them? Family by choice. And as the night faded and the candles burned low, I looked around that little kitchen and realized something Jenna could never take from me. This wasn't a comeback. This was a home. And it didn't need her name to mean something, because I'd finally remembered whose name mattered all along. Mine.